Hello, and welcome to Have At Us, reviews for your pleasure. We share honest thoughts, opinions, feelings, often hot takes. I'm Nietzsche.
And I'm Joshua.
And this is episode 8 of the RWBY Report. We're talking about episode 10 of RWBY Ice Queendom. We're going to be spoiling this for you. Try and keep spoilers out of the normal RWBY property. But this is your warning. We thrive on you having at us. It's in the title. The social media links for you to do that are right down in the description. So you get right on that. Let's hear it. You were really kind of hateful on the last episode. And I feel like there's still going to be at least a little bit of hatred here. If not a lot.
I like this episode a lot. That doesn't mean there's no criticisms. I got a couple.
You got a couple. Alright, let's start with the criticisms. Let's just knock them out here.
Okay. Well, let's get with the one that I think is the least consequential, but I notice it, and I'm going to be a little petty about it.
Okay.
When Blake and Weiss start fighting, they have a couple exchanges of blows, right? And then the immediate cut afterwards from them exchanging blows is Blake is not in the shot at all, and Weiss just jumps up and does a cool ice, ley lines in the air thing, and jumps away, and then Blake comes in. And it doesn't really make sense animation-wise. It's a really bad cut. And I didn't like it, and for some reason, I just noticed it, and was like, that looked bad.
That's the cut you're bothered by.
Yep, that was the one I was bothered by.
Oh, that looked a little weird. I moved on. The cut that was bad in that section was not long after that when we pan out to just the buildings, and all you can hear is them fighting, but there's nothing happening. It just pans the buildings, and then it zooms in on them, cuts to them on top of some buildings. And I'm like, either it was really small, and I missed them, but I was looking for them, and I did not see them, or you just chose this weird thing where there could have been action, and there was action, but there wasn't. That bothered me a lot.
Well, that's like a trick that you use to kind of cut budget a little bit. You're like, okay, we need to show that they're fighting through sound, but not have them on screen because that, then you gotta animate them. So instead, we're just gonna have a shot of the city where you can hear the classes. That's the kind of thing you'll see sometimes, and it's just a little trick.
I know what it is.
That's fine.
No, just don't do it. Cut to something else. I don't know why you need to have their sounds in the background.
I don't know. That didn't bother me.
Okay. The other one was not that bad at all. Alright, let's hear another criticism. You said you had multiple.
Correct. The coins. I don't like them at this point.
You don't like the coins because you have to count them and try and keep track of them?
It's not even that.
Oh, okay.
I just think they're too convenient of a plot device that we can just... Oh, also, if... they're kind of in a weakened state, you can now use the coins to get rid of the nightmare or whatever. And it's like, okay, stop. Stop giving these multiple utilities. They're just a convenient, item that just comes out of nowhere. And it's like, oh, hooray, I got a coin and I've saved the day with it, I guess. I don't like it. They're dumb.
I think that you're just being unnecessarily harsh to the coins. The coins don't come out of nowhere. They have a purpose. My problem becomes they used the one coin to call Shion, right?
Yep.
Okay, so then they had 3 coins left between them.
Yep.
Right? And I understood that we used 1 coin for the nightmare, because she had to, send it through.
Did we use a coin there? I think so.
That was the implication I got. Shion doing the ritual thing doesn't necessarily show it using a coin here. But I got the impression that we were using a coin because Shion asks about the coins and how many they have left.
Which was 3.
Yeah. And so I assumed we used a coin there, and we needed 2 coins left.
That was the instructions.
Okay, and Ruby and Jean don't have coins.
Correct.
They don't know that. But then Yang uses a coin for the door so she can make her heroic entrance.
Correct. So now we got 1 coin.
So that's how I understand it, unless the nightmare thing doesn't use a coin.
I'm not sure. I thought it used a coin too.
Yeah, so I just felt like that was a weird thing. We really need to just stop saying how many coins there are is my problem with the coins. Because I just feel like we fail in some regard every time we say there's coins.
You could have just had a pouch and be like, oh, we're running low. And it would have been like, okay.
Yeah, but they all got 3. Except for Blake, because she was animated with 5.
Well, what I'm saying is at the very beginning, when the coins were introduced, you could have just had a satchel full of coins and like just use them at your own discretion. And then you don't have to count them. We don't know. And then it could have been like, oh, okay, we're running low now. As you know, you're reaching the climax.
No, I don't think that would have worked as well. I just think you needed to tighten it up and be a little more consistent with how you did it. Anyway, I wasn't really that bothered, but I was a little bothered.
I was happy we found the bike, though.
It was nice to explain all that, but it also felt a little weird because we haven't really done anything like that in this show yet, where we actually nicely went back and brought everything together.
Where we traveled in time.
Oh my gosh. Were you waiting? You're just like waiting for me to make some comment about it so that you could bring it up?
Perhaps, perhaps not.
Anyway, it was fine. It just felt a little weird that we did it and we actually like answered some things and like made it work like a cohesively written story. Because we haven't really done that very well.
That's why I was shocked. I did not think we were going to go back and explain things, to be honest. I didn't expect it. I thought lower of the show than that, and they surprised me with it. And I was happily surprised about it, because it was a far more interesting scenario to follow than whatever else was going on. And Ruby's barely in this episode. And so we're following Blake and Yang for most of it, learning a bit. I'm not really entirely sure how these nightmares really work at this point. We can just put this nightmare in this nightmare, and then we'll fight, and we'll be possessed by them, and then we'll be weakened, and you can get us out of it. And boy, there's a lot of conveniences here, and it's okay, because the power of friendship will win out at the end.
It is tropey and a little anime-esque, right? It's very anime storyline-esque, but I think it still makes enough sense here.
It's enough.
Right, the nightmares won't attack each other. We stated that, so if you put a different nightmare into the nightmare, then that will mean that it shouldn't have any real consequences on the nightmares attacking. But it has successfully made it where Weiss is, coming to her senses.
It works.
I mean, don't push the envelope. It breaks rather easily.
Yeah, it's a fragile existence it's got going. Well, it's fine. It's more answers than I was kind of expecting. I'm happy we got somewhere with it. I like the visuals a lot in this episode overall.
The visuals are all pretty good.
I think it was strong. In particular, you get the scene where Yang's out of the house and looks back at the entrance to the orphanage, and you got Blake on fire, and it's kind of like a silhouette. That's a cool shot. I'm kind of a sucker for shots like that, where you get like a silhouette-y kind of shot, and it's a little obscured. I like that kind of thing, so I enjoyed it.
A little obscured. She looked like a demon.
Yeah.
It's not a little obscured.
But I like stuff like that.
It was nice looking. The visuals overall were pretty decent looking. Their fight scene with Weiss and Blake was decent. There's a couple weird little shots that were like, okay, whatever. I'm gonna move on. But most of it was pretty good.
Not bad. I don't think it's the best action scene. I still feel like maybe the best action scene is like episode 1.
Where?
With RWBY and the robbers.
Nah, I don't feel like that's better than this. There's a lot more at stake here. I'm more invested. I've seen the robber scene and many a times.
I'm sure.
It's not that impressive when it's just done in a nicer art style.
Sure, but to me it was the most interestingly choreographed, whereas these are all fine. But in general, I don't think they're that exciting.
You know what this episode also does well besides the visuals? The music comes back in nicely, holds its own.
I did notice...
Especially there at the end.
I didn't notice it at the end. Well, I don't know where we're defining the end. But I did notice it when I think RWBY gets on the bike with Yang. There's a little bit of a music coming in.
Yeah, it starts before that, I think. But yeah.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah, it was decent.
It was pretty good.
The ending music doesn't match with the climax deal, but it generally doesn't in this show, so I move on.
It is what it is. It did have a nice illustration at the end.
This is the nicest one yet, I think.
Yeah, I agree. It was a good one. I liked it. I thought that'd be a good postcard.
It'd be a good postcard.
Yeah. If I was gifting you a postcard.
It'd be that.
That's it.
Where are you sending this postcard from?
Alaska.
Alaska. Does Alaska have enough people who like RWBY for there to be RWBY postcards up there?
Absolutely not. No, I gotta say, I felt like there was a little bit of a Devil May Cry thing going on in this episode with the bike. And it was a little weird. This was my last criticism. Was Yang, she's riding her bike, she's thinking she's so cool. And then she's riding on the side of this platform height. I don't really know. And she's writing on the wall, on the side, and she's like, oh, only in a dream would this work. And it's like, okay, do you just get to decide in the dream that you get to do a cool thing now? What are the laws of physics now? I don't understand how this works. You're admitting that you could only do this in a dream, but we haven't established that you get to defy physics in the dream.
I think you are pushing too hard on Yang, like, magically altered the dream herself. Because I don't think that's what happened. I think she went for it because it's a dream and decided, I'm just gonna try it. It's gonna go great. And then it went great. And she was like, cool, only in a dream.
So you can ride motorcycles on walls in the dream?
Apparently, you can do all kinds of things. Mini Weisses become massive and giant and attack things and...
Sure, but those are like a conjuration of the mind, right?
Yeah.
They don't necessarily defy how a motorcycle is gonna work.
Why is there a motorcycle here? Because Weiss put the motorcycle there.
Sure. Honestly, if she had made no comment, I would have been more accepting.
It's a personality thing.
Nah.
How does that not fit her personality? This fits her personality just fine.
Ugh, I didn't like that scene.
I don't understand, and I'm not gonna understand what's so bad about this line, but okay. Any other nonsense, ridiculous things that really don't make any sense for you to hate? Do you want to hate on right now?
Will both Blake and Weiss be free of their possession by the end of next episode?
No, only Weiss.
Only Weiss, and then Blake goes into the last episode?
And then Blake will finish out halfway through the episode in 12, and then we'll be done.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was thinking.
But Weiss will be early.
Early? You think so?
Yeah, that's why we ended with RWBY right there. We're not going to start right with RWBY, but we'll end it pretty quick.
I guess John's got to do something with this cool sword.
No, Jean provided the cloak for Yang.
Oh boy.
Because he's useless.
Well, he's fighting Mr. Mustache or whatever.
No, Mini Weisses are. And when Pyrrha saves him, because he's an utter moron, I'm not going to be surprised.
He's another character I'm really needing to, get good so I can cheer for him. But he is making it difficult.
This is Jean, okay?
Yeah.
This is Jean basically all the time.
Ugh.
And some people are going to believe I'm unnecessarily harsh on Jean. But I don't think I am.
How's his reception in general?
From my understanding, most people think he's kind of a failure. But they are okay with him. And then when we get way down the road and he's unlocked his semblance and grown a little bit, people, think better of him.
Just a little bit, huh?
I don't think he gets better at any point here. I think he's equally as useless.
Well, that's not encouraging. But he hasn't got his time travels in the main show yet, so we'll get there.
Okay, but if this is canon adjacent, he should already be able to time travel.
He's hiding it.
Uh-huh. I don't think Jean is going to do anything great at any point.
He's going to save the day in the last episode of RWBY.
He's going to die.
He's going to be the linchpin for it all.
He is going to die.
Yeah, probably. He'll die a pathetic death, and he'll be like, wow, what a waste of space you were.
He's basically a waste of space.
I'm trying to understand what you mean.
Yeah.
It's unfortunate.
Anyway, you got anything positive you want to say about this episode?
Yeah, I liked it.
That's it? You got any other points you want to bring up about how great it was or what was great or...
In the grand scheme of things, there's kind of just a lot of exposition, so I don't really feel like there's a whole lot to talk about outside of just the oddity that is anime.
I just like that Ozpin is the headmaster of the school, and he has given his approval after Shion is over there like, well, they both might die. And he's like, oh, go for it. Yeah.
He just trusts them that much.
I mean, he says he trusts them that much.
Yeah.
But I'm like, okay, Ozpin. That's pretty true to form, but...
Ozpin seems like a character that I would want to turn out to be kind of bad. But not like an antagonist, but morally maybe a little reprehensible. But he's doing what he's got to do. That's kind of what I'm feeling for him.
Okay. I mean, I know a lot about Ozpin.
Yeah.
That would spoil a lot of things.
Yeah.
So I will let your opinion rest there.
Okay.
That ends everything I gotta bring up over here. Defending this from your hatred and sad accusations. You don't got anything else? Any other mean things you need to say about Ice Queendom over here?
As a whole?
In the episode, clearly.
Oh, okay. No. This episode is mostly good.
Mm-hmm. Well, that brings us to the end of our correct, my righteous opinions. Josh's hot takes, wrong opinions. His feelings that are also wrong. You should get some things right at some point. You should try that next episode, But that's the end of all that. We hope you enjoyed it. If you did, you like, you comment, you subscribe, you follow, you share this, you leave suggestions, you do the right things, unlike Josh.
And of course, there is one last thing you can do. And this is not something you've probably done before, but you're going to have to try it now. You're going to call into your body a spirit. It can be whatever spirit you want, but it needs to come from the realm of shadows, otherwise known as the Shadow Realm.
That was hard to put together.
Yeah, it's pretty difficult. But once you invite him in, and he's thinking, oh, I'm possessing this guy or gal, you pull out the trap card. You say, no, it's a trap. And you must start lecturing him. You talk to him, lecture him, tell him all about us, about the greatness that is RWBY, and then you banish him back to the Shadow Realm, where he will spread the joys and wonders of your lecture and bring betterment to those departed spirits.
We are getting a real questionable audience from this now. But at least they will always have the time to listen. Yeah, they'll never die. They're already dead. So
that's loyalty.
They got eternity. They can re-listen to these things.
That's a long time.
This is a good deal. This is entertainment for the dead now. This is a quality choice there. And I'm giving this an 8 out of 10.
Wow, you stole my score. So I'm going to give this an 8.0 out of 10. Have at us.